my notes. So the Golden Age was when Saturn was a stationary sun with purple haze. Now, the Golden Age was when we didn't have any seasons. Like I said, the Saturn was stationary. The fruits were huge. You were talking grapes the size of your head. That was the Golden Age. That's when we had heavy water in our atmosphere instead of the lighter atmosphere that we have today. That's why dinosaurs were able to roam. That's why we had bigger animals. That's why the giants were around. It's because the earth was able to support larger creatures, but not anymore. The reason is because we had the War of the Gods, the Titans versus the Olympians. That's why we have the Olympics these days. Only Olympians compete. Prehistoric nuclear war. The purple is the plasmatic energy, or the soul. I think I talked about that already, but if you look into the Kesh Foundation, they're doing plasma reactors, and what they're noticing is they're getting purple hues in a lot of the videos around the reactors, and that's because the purple is the soul. Radiation destroyed the primordial atmosphere. Saturn, or Kronos, was castrated by his own son, Zeus, or Jupiter. Jupiter also being represented as Jesus. As a result came purple rain and the Great Flood. So when you have electrolysis or radiation in an atmosphere that has heavy water, heavy oxygen, what's going to happen is, if there's a world catastrophe, such as, atomic bomb, or mass radiation throughout the whole world, you're going to get purple rain because the plasma is falling with the rain that's getting, or the water that's getting separated from the atmosphere. So the Titans, or giants, took refuge into the earth, where the earth still has heavy water, heavy atmosphere. That's in Isaiah 24:1. Plasma energy is now pulled from the earth to the moon and feeds Saturn. Neanderthals created the Saturn death cult to acquire all the earth's gold. It will use it to rebuild the primordial atmosphere. I know the Nazis talked about this also during World War II, how they were talking to a bunch of aliens about how the atmosphere got destroyed and they needed gold in order to rebuild it. The story is that they needed it for their own planet, but I'm not sure. I think that's actually Earth as a cover story. That would also explain why they went to Antarctica, obviously to grab heavy water. So once the atmosphere was destroyed, or what was the atmosphere anyway, salt accumulated in the oceans due to a lighter atmosphere. And the ice caps accumulated due to higher concentrations of heavy water near the entrances of Agartha. So we know that the Agartha entrance, though the major ones, are in the northern and southern pole. So the Archons, specifically Lady Barbara Judge, have created a scenario where all the nuclear reactors of the world will have meltdowns. Mika 7 verses 13. I believe Japan has 43 nuclear reactors, and I know not all of them are turned on. In fact, I think most of them are turned off, but that doesn't hide the fact that they still have radioactive material in them, and 75% of Japan is radioactive. And a lot of the population cannot be evacuated officially because they have higher concentrations of radiation. I think there's a law, international law, that states that you can't move things once they reach a certain radiation level. And Japan apparently is 75% radioactive. So the term hotspots is a code word for the coming nuclear post-nuclear age, we will be tagged and microchipped as refugees under that code word. So a lot of stores now, like Canada, we have Tim Hortons or Subway, they say hotspot available. That's kind of a term that we're going to be getting used to hearing. Hotspot, hotspot. You're going to be hearing it in Florida a lot. That'll probably be the first state that you'll be hearing that it's too radioactive, and now everybody will have to be leaving and seeking refuge somewhere else. So yeah, if you live in those areas, you'll be transferred to FEMA camps. From then, only the VIP will be selected further for transportation to the DUMBs, deep underground military base. So heavy water can distinguish radiation. That's another secret they won't tell you. Is if we had a larger atmosphere, we would never have... Well, once they fix this atmosphere, the radiation will cease to exist. That's why heavy water is so important. That's why they're hiding it. They don't want anybody to know this. It's a heavy detox on the body. It makes the body, well, pretty much like ageless. In the Bible, it says that man's age was reduced to 120 years, and that's because the atmosphere, if we still lived in a heavy water atmosphere, our age would actually be much greater, in the thousands, like they do in Agartha. So, I guess that's all I want to talk about now. That was a load of information. Questions, comments, and below, and I'm sure we will get the ball rolling again on this topic. So, cheers to Jimmy. Thanks for bringing this up, and yeah, like and subscribe.